Yo, what's up folks, CG here, and March of Machines is out, and today we're looking at Blue White Auras. It is release night, so I've not had the chance to test this a ton, but there's a lot of kind of evidence behind it being good. The big thing here, the big new thing that makes you want to play Blue White Auras is that we have a 2-mana Hexproof creature that is really, really solid. So we've got Cyber Cryptomancer, 1 and a blue for an 0-1 with Flash, Backup 1 and Hexproof. This backup 1 ability is actually really important for protecting your creatures because when it's the battlefield, put a counter on target creature, and then if it's another creature, it also gains the abilities printed below this 1 turn a turn, i.e. you get to give a creature you control a hexproof. So say you've got like a Shram in play, or a Light Pause in play, and your opponent tries to kill it, we can Cryptomancer in response, put the counter on the Light Pause of the Shram, and then that gets hexproof protecting it. Okay, nice, but it also just comes down as a 2-mana 1-2 with Hexproof, which we can then enchant onto without our opponent being able to interact with, which is amazing. We've still not got Glade Cover Scout, the green 1-drop for the green-white deck, but for the time being, Cryptomancer might be the answer. And so I'm starting off with blue-white. You could try that, but I think that becomes quite clunky, and we'll maybe have a look later down the line at that. But here, let's take a look at the list. So let's start with the creatures. At 1, we have 3 copies of Skrelv, Defectomite. It's the fairly familiar with by now. 1 mana for 1-1, it can't block, has Toxic 1, but this Phyrexian mana tap, choose a color ability, another target creature you control against Toxic 1, and hexproof from that cover until end of turn, and it can't be blocked by creatures of that color this turn either. That Mother Rune style ability kind of protecting other creatures. Awesome, lets you play a bunch of really strong 2-drops. The most of those we've kind of mentioned already. Light Pause. And when an aura enters the battlefield under your control, if you cast, you can go search for an aura with mana value less and attach it to Light Pause. Well, less than or equal to, I should say as well. So if you play a 2-mana 1, you can get a 2-mana 1. This deck does have a lot of 2-mana auras in it as well, and some of them are really, really strong, as we'll see. So Light Pause is a bit of an engine card. The other engine card we have is Shram. 1 and a white for a 2-2, simply when you cast an aura and then some other spells, draw a card. And here it's just kind of our core Spirit Dancer effect, just going to kind of draw off with some of our 1-mana enchantments. Very solid. So these 2 cards provide you a bit of an engine, and then we get to protect them with Skrelv, and then we can also protect them actually with Cryptomancer, which is pretty nice. But our main thing with Cryptomancer really is that we want to suit it up with some enchantments and beat down with it. The other creature we have is Stormchaser Drake, bit of a classic. The blue-white like aura spell deck has been around for a little while in various forms, but 1 and a blue here for a 2-1. Whenever Stormchaser Drake becomes target of a spell you control, draw a card. And so we have a few different card draw engine kind of effects in this deck, and Stormchaser Drake is another one of those, but obviously we have a bunch of auras that we want to put on things. Stormchaser Drake both having flying already, and so being a great target for it that way gives you that card draw as well. So the actual auras. I'll start off with the 2 kind of ones that stand out like a sore thumb, Hannah Hand and Ghost Form. We can cast these up on Mana Confluence, but these are mostly for our Light Pause package. Hammer Hand, which importantly can give the Light Pause haste the turn it comes in, also stops your opponent's creature blocking, it's kind of nice. And then Ghost Form, when the enchanted permanent dies or is put into exile, it returns to the battlefield under your control, kind of giving it a shield versus removal, which is really, really, really awesome. Then we've got a number of other 1-mana enchantments. So we have 4 copies of Ethereal Armor, kind of our bread and butter. So the 1-mana enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control and has first strike. Just a huge power buff, obviously where we're getting most of the power from in the deck. We have Griff Spoon, kind of fresh from Shadows of Innistrad Remastered, +1/+1 and flying. Obviously some of our creatures already have flying, like the Stormchaser Drakes, but yeah, still really nice for evasion, and also 1-mana enchantment. Does also come out of the graveyard if you get to 4 mana. If that becomes relevant, then hey, you might be in a rough spot, but it is there. We have 2 copies of Cartouche Solidarity. 1 mana, creature gets +1/+1 at first strike, but also creates a white creature, warrior creature token with Vigilance, which is a nice shield against things like Liliana the Veil, any other kind of Edict effect. Is pretty cool there. Then we've got Sentinel's Eyes, 3 copies. +1/+1 and Vigilance, which is nice because it lets you block as well when you're suiting up like a big attacker, especially if it's got lifelink, which we'll get to. But then also escapes from the graveyard by exiling 2 cards, so pretty nice there as well. We also have 1 instant sorcery answer to complement our 3 copies of Skrelv here. That is a copy of Lauren's Escape. Target artifact or creature against hexproof and indestructible at the turn. Scry 1 does protect you from wraths like Supreme Verdict as well. One of the nice things about Stormchaser Drake is it draws off any spell that you control, so hey, instant sorceries count too, and so I wanted to mix that up slightly rather than play 4 copies of Skrelv, because of course it is legendary. At 2 mana then, let's start at the top, we've got 2 copies of All That Glitters, is a bit like Ethereal Armor, just +1/+1 for each artifact or enchantment you control. In the main deck we just have enchantments, but we do have some artifacts post-board. Oh no, yeah, it does count scroll as well, so I guess that does matter. Alright, fine. But just 2 copies here is a bit more expensive. We've got 2 copies of Aether Tunnel, which might be a new one for you. One in the blue, enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and can't be blocked. We unfortunately don't have access to Aqueous Form yet on Arena. At some point we may do, that'd be awesome, but for now, Aether Tunnel will have to do. Honorably, you can play Aether Tunnel, and then if you've got Light Pause in play, go into one of your other enchantments. Similarly, like all of the others you can do it for Aether Tunnel, so you get to make a bigger blockable attacker. The other way around as well. And the other huge, and one of the big benefits to playing blue and white auras, is that you get to play Staggering Insight. Staggering Insight is white and blue. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and lifelink, and then also, whenever this creature does combat damage to a player, draw a card. You'll notice that we don't have any copies of Curious Obsession here. We don't really need it. We've got a bunch of card draw engines in the deck already, and Staggering Insight also kind of fills this role. Again, being a 2-mana enchantment, awesome with Light Pause, get to go to for either of these bits and pieces. Hey, I want my creature to get +1/+1, the kind of curiosity ability, and then also unblockable, which is, you know, pretty nice with that lifelink as well. Really, really strong package of auras and creatures available to us here in blue and white, which is sweet. The mana base fairly straightforward. We've got 4 Hallowed Fountain, 4 Hengate Pathway, 4 Screecher Coast, 4 Mana Confluence. Again, you can hurt a little bit, but you want to be able to have a way to cast these difficulty in your hand. It's still kind of narrow. They can get trapped there. It kind of is what it is. Having them in the Light Pause package is just so powerful for the deck in general that it's worth it. We've got an Otawara, a Django, and then 2 copies of Cave of the Frost Dragon, which occasionally gets in those last few points of damage. The sideboard is fairly straightforward. We've got 2 copies of Hushbringer, versus things like Enigmatic Incarnation, turns off ETB effects, and also gives you a lifelinker to enchant onto, which is pretty nice. 3 copies of Rest in Peace, versus things like Greasefang, other graveyard decks. Extraction Specialist is really, really nice, versus things like Red-Black, decks that are trying to kill all your creatures. It both recurs your Light Pause and your SRAM, but also gives you a threat in itself to start enchanting to. So it gives you 2 bodies, which is awesome. Versus aggro, we've got 4 copies of Portable Hole, kind of shoring that up, and then some interaction with counter spells. We've got 2 copies of Spell Pierce, and then 2 copies of Mystical Dispute for blue decks, or decks like Combo, where you're like, actually, I'd just rather have a counter spell on turn 3, which occasionally comes up, but mostly, hey, blue decks, whether that be Control or things like Spirits. And so, yeah, we're going to hop into some ranked games. If you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel. Obviously, March of the Machine is out. I have a whole load of constructed videos coming your way. Also, if there's anything particularly you want to see, it's right at the set releases right now, let me know in the comments as well. So yeah, let's hop into some ranked games. Alright, into our first ranked match here. Opponent will get to be on the play, I believe. Hey, a bit awkward. We've got 3 of our new card, but no actual lands to cast it. I'm going to put this one back. Fairly reasonable blue-white card. Blue-white hand. We've got all our colours. We can put one of these lands back. I'm just going to bury the Hallowed Fountain, which should avoid taking damage off of that. Depending on how interactive our opponent is, we might struggle here, because we've only got 1 creature. And that is a Blackleaf Eclipse, which is not a great sign for our creatures sticking around and living. I'll play the Seagram Coast out, and then we'll see what we draw over the next few turns. I don't necessarily want to just run the Light Pause out by itself. If we give them like a 3rd turn, then potentially they can look to... We drew the Ghost form as well. Awkward. Now we definitely can't just run the Light Pause out. I'm just going to play Seagram Coast and pass, because if we just play this, it just dies to the Bloodtooth Harvester. So we'll say go. I think what I'll probably do is I'll try and Light Pause and Sensitize at the same time, depending on what they do here. Maybe they tap out something like Fable. I'd really appreciate that, because it'd let us you know, not have to worry about interaction when we try and Light Pause and enchant. But, you know, we'll see. They're looking at our Seagram Coast and like, is this a control deck? Those aren't normal control lands. They're going to play a 3rd land, and do we have a 3-drop? I desperately want them to tap out for a Fable right now, which is something I've never said before. Well. I've been playing Vanillafire recently. There is the Fable. Okay, awesome. So, our 3rd land into play. We have forces. I'm going to Light Pause. We unfortunately can't play the Ghost form. We could get hasted up here. Normally you don't want to enchant Ethereal Armor from your hand onto Light Pause. Desensitize as well, being something we can escape back from our graveyard later as well, is another kind of advantage to that. And now we get to go tutor for another 1-mana aura. Whatever that may be. Normally I thought would be to get Cartouche, so we've got another creature lying around. The chances are they have a pretty good answer to one of the things we're doing. The Cartouche token does give us another creature to enchant onto, but obviously not in a super reliable way. Alternatively, we can go get Ethereal Armor, make it as big as possible, try and get our reaches of removal, but we are just vulnerable to Fatal Push anyway, and so there is something to be said for that. I think the best plan is to just get a Cartouche. Get the extra creature. It does take us mostly out of range of Harvester, but if they do have a second one, then hey, we'll be in a little bit of trouble. We'll see, we'll see. Again, the idea here is that we can like Sentinels back from our graveyard if they kill the Light Paws, which at least means we're not losing too much, but we're in a tough spot. The Mulligan's not been kind to us, and us only getting one creature, really. Alright, there is a Fatal Push. I'll put both those in the graveyard. Not dead yet. Got some live draws and stuff. We're not going to block here, of course. Alright, drawing the uncastable cards out of like when we desperately need. Land's a little rough. So this currently does -2/-2. The chances are that whatever we get, that whatever happens to, they have an interaction one way or the other. I'm trying to think if there's a good way to grow this without letting them just kind of get everything. I'm gonna try and Sentinel's Eyes here. Ideally, we get to attack with this. To be fair, I don't think we can win the game if they have a removal spell here, because we've not drawn a creature this time, which means they're going to get another free turn to go off. They'll have a Fable flip. In a moment, they'll have Fable plus Blood type Harvester active, and so I think we should try and draw out of it this turn. In which case, let's Staggering Insight. Just do what we can, really. Yeah, they have the removal spell, as kind of predicted. But yeah, we'll take another draw step, but by the time we get anything online, they're gonna have us in the Harvester Reflection lock, and we're on like 7. Yeah, it's a Shield Red. I don't really want to show them anything else because we are just gonna be dead to this. So any combination of these things over the next turn cycle. Let's go to game 2. So versus red-black, we definitely want these Extraction Specialists. I'm not too worried about any of these other things. In terms of what we're cutting... protection cards that like really require us to stay in play. I like having Aether Tunnel, but maybe some copies of Staggering Insight. It's an interesting one because it helps us draw through things, but our 2-mana enchantments are pretty good. Can maybe cut all the glitters. Having 1 to tutor for is always going to be pretty strong, though. Maybe do something like this. It's just because the 2-mana enchantments are much more clunky. As you can see there, we're just kind of limited in the number of spells we can cast, as we do have a bunch of 2-mana creatures of our own as well. Alright, we'll roll back up with this. See what our opponent has. We might run into the one player with like a million edicts in the board. It'll be tough. Sheoldred's Edict, by the way, as well, is just gets around Cartouche Solidarity. Which is, you know, we'll take the play. No lands is tough, for sure. This 1-land hand, unfortunately, is still pretty bad. We're going to go to 5. This is not what you want versus red-black, but this 5-card hand might be quite good. If we put the Ghost Form on the bottom, we know that we're not going to accidentally draw it, which is nice. And then this actually might be a situation where we can bottom the Ethereal Armor, just because we have effectively a pile 2 must-kill 2-mana creatures, regardless of whether we actually attach Auras onto them, because we're on the play as well, and then something to bring them back. So I think this is actually the way to play it. We'll get the cave out of the way first, and I think we lead with the Drake. We are at a rough spot though. Not to mention they can have Thoughtseize and a million other things. There is a Blood Crypt. I need to stop talking, actually. That's what I need to do. They're like, okay, these are interesting. What are we doing here? They didn't see Stormchaser Drake last game, to be fair. The Extraction Specialist is an interesting choice. That gives it enchantment. Given they've taken the Extraction Specialist, I expect them to... We're definitely going to play this on blue. To have an answer, but we're going to play this on Shaker's Drake now first. Because even if the enchantment doesn't resolve, we still draw the card off the Storm Chaser Drake, which, you know, is upside. But from their perspective, we have one unknown card in hand at the moment. This is a matchup where drawing the Hexproof creature increases our win percentage by a lot. Though, Soda's starting with 7 cards. Yeah, Killspell here. They can even have second Fatal Push, really. If we'll just run this out. They took Fatal Push, Thoughtseek. Well, if it immediately gets pushed, we can kind of concede and just move on to our next match. But, and if they have push now, they're still going to have push later. At which point, this isn't going to get to do anything anyway. We may as well try and get them to... They know everything. But that is, I think, fine. We are going to need access to mana. This is the most miserable I've ever been. Get one. We didn't get stomped. That's incredible. Okay. Maybe we are in for a shot. What do we think they have? And how best we're going to play around it. It's another situation where we should get Ghost Form. That's what we should get. I knew that already. Okay. We play out the scrub. We'll keep the mana confidence in hand because they don't know we have it. We are in a position. We'll see though. We'll see. This is a little tough. We will pay the mana to do this. We gain the life, so it's not as big of a downside. Ooh, that's actually maybe the best draw we could have got. Okay. What are they up to do here? They have a Mutavault as well, which we can't get protection from. They're going to attack us out. That is fine, we got 18. 16 on our draw step, but we're gaining life back at the moment. Trespasser. Sure. We get to eat the Drake or something like that. Yeah. It does block a bit. Okay. Let's Ethereal Armor here. I think we're gonna find a... I need to think about it actually. We might have them lethal. This is adding 3. Okay, not lethal. Danny feels like a fatal push. We have the Cryptomancer. Alright, that's 6. This is going to go up to 7, plus what we use. That'd be 8 flying. That's as good as we can do. I think so. Then we can save the Scrolv. See what we draw as well. Makes sense to make the Drake out. Alright. Need to make sure if we're using Scrolv that we use actual life. Then go up to 7. Yeah, okay. So we had to be on the draw game number 3. That was... Oh, I was so convinced we were just going to get stomped when I tried to channel Light Claws there. And hey, look at that. Things go well sometimes. The draw here. This Hammerhand maybe isn't the most useful because we're going to go and get protection all the time. Having more castable spells would be nicer, I think. I think we just add the Staggering Insight back. If we can start drawing cards, then we can seal things out. Shieldred having Hexproof is problematic, which is why we've got the 280 tunnel still, rather than cutting one of those. Shieldred having what? Sorry, Shieldred having Death Touch. I'm not sure what I said. I feel like I said Shieldred having Hexproof, and that's not right. Alright. We're on the draw. And let's see what we start with here. This is a key. We just have to pray they don't have Thoughtseize. If we can get the Cryptomancer in play, we should be able to lights out win the game. Assuming... Well, they can have Edicts. They can have Edicts, but we have a Cartouche. As long as they don't have specifically Shieldred's Edicts, then we're okay. That is a Thoughtseize. Ah. Words. Ignore the Cryptomancer. Ignore the Cryptomancer. Well. That is keeping a 1 threat hand versus black-red, but given our track record of this game, I don't feel too bad about mulliganing it. I can't afford to make this light pause on curve, unfortunately. Yeah, Harvester will keep us off of that pretty well. Okay. And tap up the table here. That at least lets us... I was holding my breath. Oh, actually, be able to bring back that might be better. And then next turn do that. That seems good. I'm even going to back up to put the counter here. Alright. And then this turn, because we've got the extra land as well, we can light pause and then a number of things. Of course, this can't actually do anything until the light extraction specialist leaves, but, you know, the 4-3 with lifelink is also pretty good. Alright, Thoughts isn't interesting. I'm wondering what they're going to take here. It should probably just be the light pause, but I guess hey. We then kind of have to play the game of what are we putting where. They could also potentially have, like, some kind of wrath. Which is a little worrying. Alright, they're going to take the Staggering Insight, which means maybe they have something like Shieldred. No, sorry, that's dumb. This game's life. Maybe they're just going to try and pressure us. Yeah, they're going to kill the Extraction Specialist. This is a dangerous line. No blocks, of course. This can now attack. Alright. Important thing. They have treasure. Heavily implies that they have answers for a interaction spell for the light pulse. We have 2 choices. We're on 12. We're going to try and Staggering Insight the Cyber Commander. Then kill light pause a response, in which case we don't get to search. We go up to 12. And yeah, they're going to Heartless Act the light pause. That is okay. We'll go ahead and get into the red zone. Gotta feel fairly good about this, even though they're going to have Reflection online soon. But in the meantime, we go to 7. They're on 11 already, actually. We're representing a lot of power and life gain in hand. I love the discard on the ritual set.
This is my
that is
off you go.
There's no justice in the world. They have Reflection Blood-Tithe Harvester online as well now. Okay. So I guess we try and make Skrell big enough so it can't just be blood tides down. Yeah, if we may as well cast it because getting discarded otherwise. Oh dear. I spoke too soon. I was like, oh look, haha, they discarded the Ritualist, and then I realized that they tried something on it. Ah! Yeah. That is... okay. We kind of have a doorstep.
We all have things we'd rather forget.
Well, that was a fun but painful game in the end. Play one more ranked game. Alright. In for a second match. Yeah, I only got 2 outwards, something like that. There are probably a couple of copies of Liliana floating around. But hey, won't do on that for long. This deck plays 20 lands, which you wouldn't have thought given our mulligans so far. I guess we keep what? This? That's Gigantha. I mean a couple of different things. I think this is fine. Let's just... yeah, no, I think this has to be right. We're on blue-white control, I promise. I promise. Definitely not gonna make mana confluence this time to the aggressive creature. Interesting. Light Pulse is the highest upside. They've not shown a red source yet. I'm expecting to do something. One of Nylea's Presence, or we could get Try of Ambition, I guess, or Bunkers Giant. Those are the 3 things I'm expecting. None of which they actually have the colors for right now, and that is a Fable Passage. So we've got to feel a little okay about it. Oh yeah, cool. So at the minute we only have 1 land. Let's Staggering Insight. Let's try and draw towards another line. I'm hoping they have priority for Fable Passage that they're holding, not for White Removal Spell. Oh, it could be a March. Yeah. March would be good. For them, not for us. March would be horrible for us. Yeah, there is a red source. Alright. Absolutely want to take action. Okay. They've not done anything super dangerous yet, so maybe Ghost Form's the plan. All like that is get some extra power. None of these things really get us more cards. Cartouche is the safest. All that glitters gives us the most power. We have the Staunch Exotic coming. No, I'm gonna get the Ghost Form. Gonna play a little safe. Also means you can't draw it. Alright, sure. But it's out of Bone Crusher Giant range. But there are a couple of other things. Like, we do have the Kai's Go Form to regain. Okay, yeah, there's a Baffling End here. This is interesting. Not 100% sure how this goes. Yeah, okay. Have a land. I think we Insight again. We don't have another Ghost Form to get. We can get Cartouche, we can get... I have a feeling that Unblockable might become really useful real fast. Baffling End. I have to be expecting Enigmatic Incarnation, so what are they going to Enigmatic Incarnation into? Let's slam on all the glitters. If you draw an untapped land, then... okay. You do the opposite of that. That is fine. We're going Fire's Enigmatic. Fire's... Oh. Oh. Maybe I'm on something a little bit different. I should know what they're playing. I feel like I should know what... But hey. Five, six, 7, 8, 9. Doesn't quite put them dead. I'm thinking, is there a way for us to go tutor up? I'm gonna enchant here. 7. This presents lethal attack, but isn't actually what we want. This presents... We can also get this back soon, which is a bit of an incentive, I think. And almost lethal. It was this put them to 1, or Unofficial J can chat here and go get... Probably still go grab the... Oh. Okay. See what we're into here. They have access up to 7 mana. So, not the right colours for something like a Traxxas, could be something like a Titan of Industry, which could pop some more enchantments as well. I think long time we can play through that. I'm not sure. That is black mana though. So who knows? Ah. Looks like 5 color enigmatic just with Gigantha instead of Orient. Let's see. Oh, they're on 1 actually. We can go get Hammer Hand for potential lethal. Oh, not that one. Anything but the Grisbean is fine. You want that one in the graveyard. Again, they can have something like a Stomp here. They can have the Bunker Giant. Oh yeah, or a Leyline Binding. Leyline Binding is solid. Alright, we'll make Skrelvin pass then. Still in the playbook. We also have Grisboon Skrelv in the playbook as well. Okay, true card. Do they have a land? They do have a land. Darn. It's a huge pain. Now they're at 5. This is 2. We need to prevent. We kind of need to present a lethal attack, I think. I mean, they actually don't have land types to binding off of this land, right? Be 1, and then this should make 5. They're forcing a block. One, 2, 3. Oh, 4. No, it should cost 2, right? They have black. What are we? Oh, okay. Yeah. Alright. I'm gonna untapped. We'll go ahead and run out and sentinelize this. There's a... Not a fun game to lose. Yeah, I think that maybe if I play a bit safer... What do we get got by? Oh, the exchange... Yeah, it was the extinction event. I don't think I'd have anywhere played around it properly. Not game 1. Okay, Empty the Wilds gives life. That lets them cast a Baffling End and a lot of other things. Yeah, just like solid 4-color Yorion. Three Face is interesting. I guess they're playing... Oh yeah, 5 color. They're playing black. couple of things. I was thinking only a briefcase to transmogrify into something, but no, nothing. We are in a position. Oh no. We do still have the Hammerhand in the back pocket, but they now do have a late line binding. So we need to draw a Hexproof creature. Before they gain too much life. Even though they can still ley line binding some of the enchantments, is a rough start point. It's such a close game versus Black Red, and to go into this where we get them to 1, but then yeah. I was trying to think if there was a better alternative to my line with putting them to 1, but if I go all in on the Storm Drake, then we just lose more. Fortunately. I don't think I miss lethal. Put it that way. We're at 21. I'm fairly confident they'll be able to make a pile of land drops each time, to be fair. Table's going to accelerate them a bit as well. I'll give us a few more turns at best. It's kind of including a creature we can block with a little bit. Is a tough one. This is the best creature that we can have. The question is, can we... Can they not leyline binding it? If I say go... 4, 5, 6, 7. We safely have a turn. Maybe I need to do this main phase, drop the enchantments from hand, and then Drift Spoon from graveyard just to get the numbers up. I'm not sure. I feel like we need to draw something good on next draw steps. Still anyway. Okay. Alright. That is fair. Fair and valid. See, Stupid Ashland only drew 4 cards. They're pretty good cards. Maybe they're good enough to bait them into doing something like using all their mana. They do have a leyline binding, a briefcase, and a treasure. We're not worried about any of that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think we're making it out. The worst bit is this is in a base case scenario. We're not doing enough damage, and also we still get blocked and killed by the Elish because I get to blow up the Ethereal Armor. I kind of showed our hand a little bit here, but yeah, let's go to game 2. Want the specialists, want the spell piercers. They're actually not really they're not enigmatic at all. They're just playing just, you know, local Yorion, good stuff. which is fair. Is fair. I want both the Coast form and the Hammer Hand. What do I actually not like? If that's kind of meh. Tunnel, I think we do actually need. Having a large number of threats is fine. Maybe this is a matchup where the Sentinelize don't matter very much because we don't really need to block. Having one, obviously, for the package is nice. Also, we can cut a cartouche, but again, having one for light pause is nice. And I'm also going to add on the play. Alright. Do this. Yeah. They don't have as efficient removal as Red Black, at least not early. But they have better removal late. With like late bindings and stuff. Alright. Play first. Yeah, I didn't even think about the Beseiju because they have them Omnath in play, reducing the cost to 1. This is not what we want. Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering. I need to put the Skrells back. Maybe having a Skrell early is better. Skrell is a 1-drop that they'll actually have to kind of think about removing. We want the Cryptomatter for sure. Alright, yeah, let's do this. Skrell at least means we'll need 2 real spells for other creatures. We also know that they have we know that they have I can't think. Why can't I think? Essence Extraction. No, not Essence Extraction. That's the 1 black deal 3, gain 3. Extinction Event. They have Extinction Event. I'm still gonna run this. Look at the counter itself. Sure. Running volley is fine. I'll hold on to this just in case. I don't remember if Back to Nature's on Arena. Might be a good one to Google. Not skincare. M15. Parish Seward. No. Not. Yeah, I think I just wanna move on in. There's a couple of things here. Leyline Binding means we need to be careful about things like Gristboon getting removed, like mid-combat. Obviously, they don't have mana up now, but it's something to think about as we go into the game. Similarly, the Ethereal Armors, the big pumps of power, when they start getting sizable blockers, that becomes a lot more dangerous too. We've not seen anything that suggests Trial Ambition yet, but yeah, there's no Extinction Event. That's fine. Do they have a land? We've been drawing cards. They do have a land. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and Extraction Specialist. We'll do the same thing as last time, where I'll bring back the. Oh yeah, got exiled. This is still right, because we don't actually have an enchantment to play with this. Go back up here. Baffling End. Gonna hit the Specialist. Okay. Interesting. Such a weird one. I'm gonna go into the red one zone with Skrelv. There's my Cryptomancer this. Poison counters. This actually counts the scrubbers in play as well. Alright, they hit an untapped land here, but not, at least as far as we know, it's a black land, right? They do have Leyline Binding. Oh yeah, they get extra land drops. These. Alright. Let's scrub over the fairies. Let's do why. I want to get Hammer Hand. If I get Hammer Hand, this becomes 1, 2, becomes 3. I should still get Ghost Form, I think. This is pretty close. 2. Comes 3, and then this comes 2. Doesn't it 2? Yeah. The next story we play, though, can get the Light Pause unblockable. Oh. Sort of. Now it's Risen Reef time. This deck's really sweet. I just have a natural dislike for the Omnath piles. Which, you know... This isn't great. They're trying to attack with this next turn. Do we think they're going to double block the Cryptomancer? They're going to have an answer for this. They're going to have to lose some cards. They're on 5. They're so low. I think we should just wait a turn. Giving them any amount of time is bad, but sacrificing our creatures for nothing is also bad. And worse, actually, I shouldn't say worse because there's worse that can happen. Alright, new Fable. An untapped land. They have there's just so much that can happen here. Come on, dragons. Or boat. Oh, they have something like a Kenrith? Please do not have Kenrith. I need to stop talking. I need to stop talking again. No. Not like this. Ganther. It's an elemental. Now I understand. Baffling End gets with the Light Pause, kind of. I can have a second answer for it, which, you know, could be bad still. Two, 5. We drew Mana Confluence. If they have a second message, I might scream. Running Volley does do that. Now we are in such trouble. So we can copy Risen Reef, and that's like the most tame thing they can do. Yeah, they have the Running Volley for the Light Pause anyway, so, you know. I can't even be unhappy about them drawing the land. This is a non-lethal attack, right? I don't have any. 9, we go to 3. I'm trying to think how we die as a result of this. I was thinking actually if they have Omnath and then like the correct number of things off a Risen Reef. What do we got? No reach over there. They've not got a man land fire back here, have they? But we can just get like actual unblockable. They can Risen Reef. This is vulnerable to them drawing Running Volley and Leyline Binding. But so was any other way. Alright. Oh, let's go to game 3. Okay. I think I like how we're sideboarded. Just don't do much. We need to play a little bit around. I'm really tempted to bring these Mystical Disputes, but we've seen Risen Reef. It gets Omnath. It counters the stupid 4-mana, like 4-mana rats. I'm kind of down. Kind of cartouche. Don't want to trim any of these though. Nah, I think this is just too ambitious. Seeing as getting an opening hand has been troublesome, let's not chuck a bunch of cards in that we don't want to cast till turn 5. Well, turn like 4. We have a keeper. Alright. Love that. Love that. I think this is a Storm Chaser Drake on turn 2 hand. We could try and take advantage of Cryptomancer being able to well, being able to shield our other creatures. And then play around with Light Pause later on. This is also pretty fair. I think then we had like a backup plan number 2 of Light Pause into Kaya's form. Okay, they didn't have a Rending Volley, which is, you know, want to see. It also Hammerhand in for 4. What does that do? It's still vulnerable to Rending Volley, which, hey, we shouldn't push our luck too much. Let's just get our engines in gear. Our next turn we can look to go All That Glitters onto Storm Chaser Drake. Or just All That Glitters Light Pause and try and protect it with the Cryptomancer if we get to untap with it. Either of which seems reasonable, to be fair. Either seems reasonable. Stable Passages land up before. We got an Omnath. We haven't actually seen a copy of Fires of Elmire either, which they could not be playing, seeing as they're on Escape the Wilds. They're looking to play lots and lots and lots of spells. Yeah. Sometimes I wish I was leaning more into Plains and was playing Ossification. So in this position, I think we want to go grab Unblockable while we can. We give him an oops, we telegraph stuff. This is another line where we get Ethereal Armor. But I think we should grab this. Let's just present lethal quickly. Omnath also being even is nice for whatchamacallit? For Extinction Event. But we'll see how this goes. Let's explore the wild. So we've got a Veto, we've got a Leyline Binding, and we also have a Baffling End. Ah yeah. Land drop number 2 is pretty great. This cannot be vetoed, which we like. I get to Risen Reef. They went up to 16. What enchantments in play? This is one situation where we actually don't want the Lawrence escape. So that's interesting. We know that they have a Baffling End next turn, which I guess the Lawrence escape does press from that. There's a lot going on. They're gonna get to do Omnath things again. I don't want to commit the Storm Chaser Drake because they can have Extinction Event again, and yeah, we're still kind of at their mercy. And Escapes of the Wilds is such a good card. I was talking about this the other day because it's similar to Invasion of Kaldheim, which is one of my favorite cards from the set. Except with this, you're like exiling. With Kaldheim, you're exiling your hand and then drawing new cards to replace them. They're gonna Escape the Wild again. Oh dear, so painful. So Rending Volley, which now does not kill Lightforce. Yeah, you get mana. That does damage. Wait, sorry. Yeah, that life, mana. Alright. Oh, they have the veto, don't they? Oh. Do you make them use the veto? White, blue. This is fine, because we know they've got the Rending Volley, we can just count the Rending Volley later. Oh, they have a new veto. That's the other thing. One of the vetoes goes away now. One of the others goes away later. Oh man. Such a grind. Oh, let's get Alish now then. With all the elementals, maybe it's right boarding. I didn't see the Rivens and Reefs game 1, and seeing them now, maybe it makes sense to bring in the Hushwing Griffs. Yeah, in hindsight, that is the way to do it. Thought about it. Alright. Yeah, my turn. So they still have a veto, they still have this and that. This is the correct decision, I think. We know this is still sticking around. They're letting this resolve. We know that they have a... Let's get a cartouche, because we know you have a removal spell still. These both disappear. It's until the end of your next turn. I think you just kind of have to commit to going wide and dealing with the consequences. Alright. They have veto. Actually, no. If they Rending Volley now, they don't have veto, right? Can't cast it. Yeah. Do this on top. Okay. Where does that put us at? We have an Alish Norn followed by a Prison Reef. I mean, this is popping off. We got also an 8. I need to keep that in mind. We'd add to like 2 more of these like Omnath triggers. Alright, they found Sacred Foundry plus Leyline Binding. This video is going away. Sometimes it's just so hard to play around stuff. Yeah. We got a 4. Where's the Leyline Binding hitting? Light Pause makes sense. We do have one, but... Oh, yeah, double trigger because of Velashton. How'd I forget? We have to block this. I'm gonna swing with the other things. I'm gonna swing with the Paradise Stream. Sure. Yeah, that'll do it. Alright. Well, O2 Blue White Auras. Easy to some hope for that. Despite us having 20 lands, I think we mulliganed more than normal, which is, hey, something you can take away from that, I guess. I think the deck is a little bit better than this. We did get blown out in spectacular fashion there as well. But hey. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know in the comments if you've got anything particular you want to see in particular sooner rather than later with Mom. And yeah, got lots of plans, so keep an eye out. Take care. Have a good day.